transition. Everybody's starting to arrive, and you know what's gonna happen. We're gonna build a boat in 2 days, and then we're gonna race them.
Thanks, Lindsay. I'll take it from here. This is my channel. Yeah, so 2 days of building, boat race, blah, blah, blah. A couple summers ago, Total Boat brought out this whole crew of makers to their headquarters in Bristol, Rhode Island.
All right, it's a video. Wave or something. Yay!
Me and my friend Zyla Foxlin are half of the team that we named the Swingers, for exactly the reason you think. Actually, I don't know what you're thinking, so maybe not. The other half of our team, Mike Clifford and Bart Komar. And then, less importantly, we have Team Sexy Banana Vikings, Team Riff Raff, and Team The Winners. Anyway, before we arrived in Rhode Island, all of the teams had a chance to design their boats ahead of time and send the CNC files over to Total Boat to get cut, which is what we have here. The rules were pretty simple. Build a boat, race it, don't die. But we needed one critical piece of gear that wasn't on the materials list, a hammock.
Can you just hand this to me?
Just throw it at him, throw it at him.
Perfect, that certainly looked to me like Total Boat provided us with a hammock. Thanks, Total Boat, Kristen.
Cheaters!
So a little more about our design. We're building 2 kayaks using stitch and glue, a boat building technique to build lightweight but strong wooden boats from plywood. These are based on the IO, a 8-foot-long kids kayak from Guillemot Kayaks. Now here's the twist. We're turning these 2 kayaks into pontoons, connecting them with a frame, and hanging a hammock in the middle, where we'll swing while we paddle. Swingers. Because of the hammock attached to the boat, swinging. Zyla and I assembled the first kayak while the boys assembled the frame. Let's check in on them.
I got it. Oh yeah.
Well, that looks like progress. While the design of our boat may seem illogical, you would be correct. The goal for us was just have fun, make something weird, and ideally, not come in last place. There's your first pearl of wisdom of many that you'll get from this build. If you set your expectations low enough, you'll rarely be disappointed. So on to build day 1. Oh, you thought that was day 1 already? No, that was day 0, you see. We weren't supposed to start building yesterday, but we're going to need as much of a head start as possible with this dumb boat design, so we took full advantage of the arrival day. Plus, that had the added benefit of us realizing overnight that we might not have the buoyancy that we need, so we stitched together the hull of the second kayak, and before we attached the deck, we used it as a mold for some Total Boat Flotation Foam. After a little math, we mixed up the 2 parts, and dump in the foam into our mold and watch it turn into a loaf of bread. Empty cavities were filled with another small batch. Someone turned it purple while I was looking away. Rinse and repeat a second time, giving us 2 surfboard shapes to either provide us with extra pontoons or just fill the cavity in the kayaks. We'll decide how we use these later. With me and Zyla on the same team, we kind of had 2 extremes on the range for our buoyancy calculations. I guess I probably should have skipped breakfast.
So depending on how heavy these are, plus me, it's like as heavy as it has to carry.
It's because we got Jackman on our team is what's happening.
I should have skipped breakfast.
I did.
Hey, stop stealing my jokes. With the backup flotation foam bread loaves complete, we can now attach the deck to the second kayak. This is done with zip tie stitches. CA glue tack welds hold the pieces together and allow us to remove the stitches, and then Thixo epoxy is used to create fillets to give strength to these seams. It's just the same process as the big kayak that I built in slightly longer than 2 days. And a cockpit combing adds some extra strength around the openings. While that cures, let's check in on what the boys are up to. Hey, the frame is starting to look like the picture. We used one of our allotted sheets for each kayak, so we had one leftover sheet, which they cut into strips and laminated to the provided strapping material to create some surprisingly strong framing members. Just a matter of figuring out the angle so that the hammock fits, plus adding gussets to keep it from folding in on itself. And while they work on that, Zyla and I work on fiberglassing the underside of the kayaks to make them waterproof. Generally a feature desired in boats. And that's a wrap on the first of 2 official build days. And I'm glad we took a little head start because the other 3 teams had very productive days getting caught up or even ahead of us. But they only built 1 boat and not 2. So really, you should be impressed by us because we're, just that much better and kind of maybe ahead of the game, really, with less people.
Shrink wrapping the banana boat, and then we're gonna put a little bit of graffiti on there just to get their expression.
They're very proud of this.
I obviously wouldn't involve myself in childish antics like this, but this brings us to our second pearl of wisdom. The early bird may get the worm, but the early worm gets eaten.
What the F actually is this? What the? Absolutely not!
I'd say they handled that pretty well.
Day 3, we're making boats. Still, this is the final build day. Race day is tomorrow, so we have to finish today. We got Jimmy's team's boat here. So I was working on sanding one of our boats. 2 boats. We made 4 boats just in case, just to be safe. I'm carving some foam now. I don't know what everybody else is doing. And then later we drill holes in all their boats and we win.
The epoxy had cured on our boats overnight, so Zyla worked on sanding those smooth, while I worked on giving our boat a little pizzazz.
We have got a pineapple under the sea.
All Jackman.
Hey, there's pineapple over there.
With some strategically placed gusset plates, cross members, and lengths of rope, the hammock stand is coming together nicely. Probably a good idea to test it out now before the boats get attached. And once we worked out the attachment points, it held our lightest team member, so I'd say we're good, right? Actually, to account for, well, me, we had one more 2x the entire length of the hammock stand with a liberal amount of TotalBoat Thixo epoxy adhesive. And then Team TotalBoat came by to check on our progress, which I approached with unmatched confidence.
So the judging team is definitely concerned about the flotation on this one.
This
But
is pretty
hope's high.
The build team is also concerned about the flotation.
Yeah, exactly.
While the big wigs at TotalBoat had me distracted, Mike tagged our kayaks to give us a pop of color. The hammock stand got a similar treatment, which we ended up repainting later because it was a bit too loud. And even my foam pineapple got a nice paint job. Given the concern about flotation from, well, everyone, including ourselves once we felt the weight of the completed hammock stand, we decided to address that in the most logical way possible. More flotation foam, in the form of an even larger foam pineapple. And with build day 2 of 2 complete, we all moved our boats to the race location, and our team spent the after hours completing our boat there.
You like it, Jimmy?
It's a thing. It did. Covered up all the. It's not Jimmy's usual aesthetic. I like the green.
All right, friends, it's race day. It's about to get wild, and as my team would say, it's about to get bananas. 2 days of boat building, 1 day of racing, and you know we're coming for the gold. Let's do this! Race day!
One sailor from each team has to leave from the beach and go out around that little orange mark and back. And then when they come in, they have to transfer that life jacket to the next teammate. And that's sort of the baton, and then you do it again.
I'm starting to think that it may have not been the best design, but we did have a little extra time just to make sure that it actually floated, an important trait for a boat to have. Honestly, we have even more flotation than we need. I'm starting to think this may have been the best design.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
We have a bucket in
Zyla, you poor thing.
My abs are on fire! Fire!
While we may have gotten lapped by all the other 3 teams, we knew to succeed all we needed to do was stay focused. And then after handing the baton to Bart, the best possible thing happened. Too bad. Team Riff Raff, living up to the name, was never able to recover. Didn't finish the race, and we made it on the podium, succeeding at our goal of not finishing in last place. What's the upside in winning a race anyway? What does that even give you to strive for the next time? 3rd place here is like being the Paul Jackman of boat paddlers. You're a big enough deal to be in the photo, but most people ask, who's that guy?
Alright, way to go, guys. Let's get our boats up. Now the tide's coming up.
And with the official rankings in from El Presidente of Total Boat, we mostly learned what we already knew.
The most dangerous, all points went to the swingers. 3rd place, the swingers, come on down.
So what now? The story doesn't end here. I brought our rig back to Total Boat, left them with a brand new hammock and hammock stand, and the kids' kayaks found their way into the back of my truck and back to my house, where they sat in my yard for over a year. But the story doesn't end there. I eventually found the time to complete the kayaks, picking away at them over the past year. I decided to sand all of the paint off and discovered that since they sat outside for a while, the plywood rotted and delaminated in a few spots. But that's what TotalFair is for. 2-part epoxy putty that fills and sands easily, fixing any voids that I had. Since we were under such a tight time constraint during the build-off, we actually never glassed the deck of the boats. So I do that now, fully encapsulating the boat in epoxy and fiberglass. I also replaced the cockpit coaming with new pieces, since those didn't last the year outside either. Then it's just a matter of adding one more layer of epoxy and then finishing the boat with a mix of paints and varnishes. Now, Total Boat deserves a huge thanks for their longtime support of my channel, and also for bringing me all the way out to Rhode Island for this event. From foam to fairing compound, from epoxy to varnish, we couldn't have done it without them. Like, literally, who else would have sponsored any of this nautical nonsense. But with these kayaks, it certainly paid off in the end. Linked below, totalboat.com/Jackman saves you 5% on everything Total Boat, so you can build your own boat. And I know you want to. I'd probably just recommend doing it without the hammock. Now I managed to borrow a 5-year-old to take the kayak on its maiden voyage, but Justin and Phil from the Total Boat crew just had to give it a try too.
Oh no, oh no!
Love the kayak, Paul!